morning. I am Mr. K.R. Jayashankara, Associate Professor of Commerce, Maharani's Women's Commerce and Management College, Mysuru. Now I am going to explain about the topic matrices under the subject quantitative techniques for the second year BCom students of the University of Mysuru. Now let us know about the meaning of a matrix. Matrices is the plural form of a matrix. A matrix can be explained in this way. An array of numbers in rows and columns is called a matrix. I, that is the small letter I, represents a particular row. The small letter J represents a particular column. The small letter M represents the number of rows and the small letter N represents the number of columns. The size of a matrix is represented by M by N. That is, it is written M into N, but it is read as M by N matrix. A matrix is represented by a capital letter. The rows and columns of a matrix are enclosed by parentheses. So if we know about this much, it will be enough for writing in the examination with respect to meaning. That is, the key words under meaning you have to remember is it is an array of numbers represented in rows and columns, and you have to remember the small letter I, which represents a particular row, and J, a particular column of a matrix. And you should also remember about the small letters M and N, which represents rows and columns respectively. So now let us know about the important types of matrices. Row matrix. It is a matrix with one row. For example, you can look at this script. A equals 5, 6, 2, 3. So that is a row matrix is represented with only one row. The number of columns may be any. It may be 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4, 5. Likewise, the number of columns may be any, but the number of rows is only 1. Then only we can call that particular matrix as a row matrix. Then column matrix. Now you can easily understand about the column matrix with the knowledge of a row matrix. A column matrix is a matrix with only one column. You observe here, for example, B equals 3, 4, 9. So that is, you observe this column matrix. Here there is only one column and the number of rows may be any. So 3 rows, 5 rows, 6 rows. Likewise, the number of columns is only one, but the number of rows may be many. So irrespective of the number of rows, we should concentrate only on the number of columns. So that is only one column. That is why it is known as a column matrix. Now let us know about square matrix. It is a matrix in which the number of rows and the number of columns is equal. You observe here. For example, C equals 2, 2, 0, 9. So it is a 2 by 2 matrix. That means we read a matrix like with number of rows and number of columns. For instance, you consider this matrix. Here there are 2 columns, 1, 2, and there are 2 rows, 1, 2. So likewise, it is a 2 by 2 matrix. So to call a matrix as a square matrix, the number of columns must be equal to the number of rows, or it is another way, the number of rows must be equal to the number of columns. Or we can also say that the same number, a matrix with same number of rows and columns can be considered as a square matrix. I think you can easily understand these types of matrices. Now let us go to another type, that is diagonal matrix. It is a square matrix in which all the elements except the diagonal elements are 0. You observe here with an example. For example, D equals 1 0 0 0 5 0 0 0 3. You observe here. The elements at the diagonal are non-zero and all other elements are zeros. So that is why a square matrix with zeros on the other sides, on both the sides of a diagonal, are termed as diagonal matrix. So here there are two diagonals. There may be you observe here from 1 to 3 and from this 0 to this 0. There can be two diagonals, but we take into consideration only the diagonal which starts from left top element to right bottom element, and that diagonal can be termed as a prime diagonal. So under this matrices we refer when we refer to diagonal, it is only the prime diagonal and not the other diagonal. So a diagonal matrix is one in which all the elements are except diagonal elements are zeros. I think you can easily understand about the diagonal matrix. You observe this. 1, 5, 3 are the non-zero elements and rest of the elements are zeros. So this is diagonal matrix. Now let us go to another type, that is scalar matrix. It is a diagonal matrix in which all the diagonal elements are equal. So you observe with an example, you can understand better. So scalar matrix is also a diagonal matrix, but all the diagonal elements are equal. You observe the earlier diagonal matrix. There the diagonal elements are 1, 5, 3. That is, the diagonal elements are different. Observe this scalar matrix wherein the diagonal elements are the same, that is 5, 5, 5, and the rest of the elements are zeros. So likewise, we can easily understand the scalar matrix in which the diagonal elements are equal and other elements must be zero. Then it can be considered as a scalar matrix. Now let us go to another type, that is identity matrix. Identity matrix can also be termed as unit matrix. Under identity matrix, we consider all the diagonal elements are unity. So that is, we can say in another way, identity matrix is a scalar matrix in which all the diagonal elements are unity, that is 1. You observe this example. For example, I equals 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. So that is, this identity matrix is denoted by the capital letter I. So I will explain to you once again the identity matrix. Identity matrix is a scalar matrix wherein all the diagonal elements are unity, that is 1. So it may be 2 by 2 matrix or 3 by 3 matrix or 4 by 4 matrix. The size of the matrix may be anything. So in this example, we have taken 3 by 3 matrix. So that is 3 rows and 3 columns. We can take for instance, if we take 2 by 2 matrix, then 1 0 0 1. So likewise, we can take the size of the matrix anything. Now let us go to another type, that is null matrix. Null matrix is a matrix in which all the elements are 0 and it is denoted by capital letter O. So here you have to consider identity matrix is denoted by capital letter I and null matrix is denoted by the capital letter O. But in writing, we normally do not make any difference or we do not differentiate between 0 and O, but only in printing we may come across the difference between 0 and O. So O, perfect circle, and 0 is in vertical oval shape. So while writing in the examination, you need not worry about differentiating between 0 and O. So I will repeat once again. Null matrix is a matrix in which all the elements are 0. So you observe this example. For example, O equals 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That means all the elements are 0. So it is 3 by 3 matrix. The size may be anything, 2 by 2, 3 by 3 or 4 by 4. So if you, for example, if we write 3 into 3, so that will be read as not 3 into 3, it will be read as 3 by 3. Yeah, if you measure the sides 30 by 50, 40 by 60, so likewise, though we write 30 into 40, we will read it as 30 by 40. So likewise, even a matrix is read in terms of rows and columns. That is, first we refer to the rows and then we refer to the columns. So the reference of M, that is rows, should be first and then the columns. Now let us know about the matrix operations. So in under matrix operations, as per the syllabus of the University of Mysore, we have to know about only the addition, subtraction and multiplication. Of course, the division, you need not worry about the authenticity of division. As per the syllabus, we have only addition, subtraction and multiplication. Now let us know about addition of matrices. Two matrices are conformable for addition when they have the same number of rows and columns. That is, addition is possible if you are expected to add two or more matrices. Then we first add two matrices and then you take the sum of the first two matrices and then add with another third matrix. So likewise, you can add any number of matrices, but first we have to take into consideration only two or any two. So while adding, we have to confirm ourselves that the number of rows must be the number of rows and columns of one matrix must be equal to the number of rows of another matrix. Or in another way, we can say that the size of the matrix must be equal. So if one matrix is 2 by 2 and another matrix is 3 by 3, we cannot add them. So likewise, the size of the matrix must be the same. Or in another way, we can say that the number of rows and columns of both the two matrices must be equal. Then only we can go for addition operation. The addition of two matrices can be carried out by adding their corresponding elements or respective elements. With this example, you can understand better the addition of matrices. You observe here there are two matrices, matrix A and matrix B. Under matrix A, the elements are 2, 5, 2, 7, 3, 7, and under B, the elements are 4, 6, 8, 9. You observe, first we have to know about whether for addition, whether they are eligible or whether they are conformable. For conformity, we have to look into the size of these two matrices. First, A, 2 by 2 matrix, and B, it is also 2 by 2 matrix, that is 2 rows and 2 columns, 2 rows and 2 columns. So then we are confirmed that these two matrices are eligible for addition. Then we can go for addition. So in the examination, normally you are given the conformable matrices. So in the examination, normally the unconformable matrices are not given for addition or subtraction or multiplication. So only the conformable. Conformable means they can be added or they can be subtracted or they can be multiplied. Only that conformable size of the matrices are given in the examination. Now you observe these two matrices. matrix A and matrix B. If we add these two matrices, you observe the procedure. A plus B equals, you take the first element, that is 2 in the matrix A, with the corresponding element in the matrix B, that is 4. You take the sum, that is 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 equals 6. In the next subsequent step, we have written 6. In a similar way, you take the sum of the corresponding elements. That is, you observe this 5 and 6. So 5 plus 6, 11. So likewise, you can take the sum of any size of the matrix corresponding elements and arrive at the answer. You observe here, if the size of the given two matrices are equal to the, you observe the size of the given two matrices, that is A 2 by 2, B 2 by 2, and you observe the answer, that is A plus B, the size of A plus B, it is also 2 by 2. So you should remember this. So when we add the same size of matrices, the addition or then the sum will also be with the same size. So you observe here 6, 11, 11, 16. So 2 by 2 matrix. So this is addition of matrices. If you are capable of understanding addition of matrices, then you can easily understand the subtraction of matrices. The same procedure, only difference, under addition we add them, under subtraction we deduct. The procedure, the condition will be the same. So now let us know about the subtraction of matrices. Two matrices are conformable. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. Matrix. 1 minute. Subtraction of matrices. Two matrices are conformable for subtraction when they have the same number of rows and columns. So you have understood this condition under addition of matrices itself. That is, to subtract one matrix from another matrix, they should, both the matrices should have the same number of rows and columns, then only we can go for subtracting. For instance, if a matrix A is in the size of 2 by 3, and if the matrix B is in the size of 5 by 6, then we cannot go for subtraction. So that means for conformity, the size of the matrices should be the same. And the procedure, that is for subtraction, two matrices can be carried out. The subtraction of two matrices can be carried out by subtracting the elements of one matrix from the corresponding elements of another matrix. So with this, you observe this example. With this example, you can understand better the subtraction of matrices. For example, if A equals 1, 2, 3, 4 and B equals 5, 6, 7, 8. So first we have to look into the conformity. That is, whether the number of rows and columns of one matrix is similar to that of the another matrix. So you observe A 2 by 2 matrix, that is 2 rows, 2 columns. B 2 by 2 matrix, that is 2 rows, 2 columns. So it is confirmed that these two matrices can be subtracted, either A from B or B from A. So then you observe here A minus B. So under this, with this example, you observe that is, you observe the element under A 1, a corresponding element under B 5, that is 1 minus 5. 1 minus 5, you observe the subsequent step, that is 1 minus 5 equals minus 4. Then 2 minus 6, the corresponding element for 2 is 6. 2 minus 6. 2 minus 6 is equal to minus 4. So likewise, you can get the difference between any two corresponding elements and arrive at the answer. For these two problems, A plus B, you observe the difference between addition and subtraction. Under addition, A plus B is equal to B plus A. But it is not so with respect to subtraction. So under subtraction, A minus B is not equal to B minus A. We will get different elements under the answer. So likewise, you can understand easily the addition and subtraction of matrices. Normally, the conditions are similar except few points. Now let us go to the last topic under the matrix operations, multiplication of matrices. So you have to be attentive to understand multiplication of matrices. So it under multiplication of matrices, the procedure is comparatively difficult when we consider addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction can be easily done, but multiplication requires a patience listening. Two matrices A and B are conformable for multiplication if the number of columns in A is equal to the number of rows in B. So first we have to know about the conformity. You have already understood the conformity for addition and subtraction. Conformity for addition and subtraction is the number of rows and columns of one matrix should be equal to the number of columns of another matrix. That is the conformity for addition and subtraction. But the conformity for multiplication, we are not referring to the number of rows and columns simultaneously. So we have to take into consideration the number of columns of matrix A with the number of rows of matrix B. So that means if you want to multiply two matrices A and B, then you have to know about the number of columns of matrix A with that of the number of rows of matrix B. Only if the number of columns of A with that of the number of rows of B are equal, then only we can go for multiplication operation. For example, you observe, if a matrix 2 by 3, A is the size of 2 by 3 and B is the size of 3 by 4. Then you observe, first A 2 by 3, B 3 by 4. Then you observe, A 2 by 3, the number of columns is 3 and B 3 by 4. The number of rows is 3. So the number of columns of first matrix is equal to the number of rows of the second matrix. Then we can go for matrix multiplication. You should be careful while representing the size of a matrix. That is, if a matrix is 2 by 3, then the first number represents the number of rows and the second number represents the number of columns. So 2 by 3, so means 2 represents the number of rows, 3 represents the number of columns. So likewise, we can go for multiplication. So I will repeat once again. For multiplication, you have to know about the conformity of the number of columns of first matrix with the number of rows of the second matrix. If the number of columns of first matrix is equal to the number of rows of the second matrix, then only we can go for multiplication. Then if A is an m by n matrix and B is an n by p matrix, then AB is an m by p matrix. So this we can know with an example which I have already told, that is 2 by 3 matrix and 3 by 4 matrix. Under 2 by 3 matrix, 3, that is number of columns, and the 3 by 4 matrix, 3, that is number of rows. You cancel these intermediaries, that is 3 and 3. Then we are left with first 2, in the first matrix 2 and in the second matrix 4. So that will represent the size of the product of the A and B matrices. That is, in the first matrix 2, in the second matrix 4. First matrix 2, we are left with the rows, and the second matrix we are left with the columns, that is 4. So the product is 2 by 4. 2 by 4 represent the size of the product of the two matrices A and B. So the multiplication is carried out by multiplying the elements of the ith row of A by the corresponding elements of jth column of B and add the products so obtained. So it requires some more concentration to understand this. So the procedure for multiplication, we have to know about the elements in the first row. For instance, you take the elements of a matrix A in the first row and you consider the elements of the first columns of the second matrix. Then you multiply the corresponding elements. You will get products, that is first element, second element, third element, third element. That is, we are not considering the corresponding elements, that is as usual. That is, we are considering the elements in the first row of one matrix and the first column of the second matrix. Then we have to take the product and ultimately we add the products. Then we will get one single element, and that will be represented as the first element in the final answer matrix. Likewise, we continue this procedure, that is first row, first column we have already done. In a similar way, first row and second column. So if we take the products of the corresponding elements of the first row and second column and add the products, then you will get the second element in the answer matrix. Likewise, it goes for any number of columns, and we will get the elements in the first row of the answer matrix, that is the final matrix. The same procedure will be continued for the rest of the rows and columns. For instance, if we have completed the procedure for first row, first column, first row, second column, first row, third column, first row, fifth column. Likewise, if we complete the procedure for first row of the first matrix and all the columns of the second matrix, then we should go for the second row of the first matrix and all the columns of the second matrix. That is, and that will be recorded in the answer column in the second row. For instance, in the second row 2, 3, 5, and in the second matrix first column 5, 3, 6. So we have to multiply them. Corresponding elements must be multiplied and take the product and write in the second row in the final answer column. So this procedure continues, that is second row, second column, second row, first column, second row, second column, second row, third column, second row, fourth column. Likewise, that is, take the second row of the first matrix and multiply all the columns in the second matrix, and you write down and take the sum of the products, and that will constitute a single element, and that will be recorded. Likewise, in a similar way, you consider any number of rows and columns. But I think it is difficult to explain the procedure of solving problems without the help of a blackboard. So with the help of a blackboard, it can be understood better. I think you can easily understand the addition and subtraction of matrices very easily, but for knowing about in a better way about the multiplication, invariably we require the blackboard. So without the blackboard, I think you can't be able to understand perfectly. So if you have any doubts, you can ask questions and get the clarifications. Thank you for the patient listening.